knew about the study abroad program in my school, but I didn't really take interest in it until after my choir went to Austria in December of last year. We went for a singing competition, and it was only for about a week, but it was afterwards that I decided that I wanted to have this experience again, and I wanted to do it for a prolonged period of time. I have my reservations about studying abroad and going to another country because, like I said, my choir, we went to Austria for a week, but when you talk about studying abroad, and especially for an entire semester, you're not going to be able to talk to your family and friends as much as you want to, and it's not like going to college for the first time and having homesickness. It's like a prolonged period of time, and it's just that distance makes a difference. As with any study abroad program, there's going to be the issue of how are you going to get there, how are you going to pay for it. So my money that was being used for my studies at Jackson State would be applied to my study abroad program, but it still wasn't going to be enough to cover the entire program. So I applied for a variety of different scholarships, including one that Jackson State had for especially students who were studying abroad, and it was the International Week Award, and thankfully I was awarded that award, but it still wasn't enough to cover the entire fee for my study abroad program. So that's when I found out about the Gillman scholarship program, and they offer up to $5,000 for students studying abroad. And I wrote a really, really good essay, and I was granted that award as well. And the Gillman program, it allows you to use your funds for your ticket. It allows you to use it for your studies abroad. So it was a really good opportunity to use towards my study abroad program. So I had to stay with the host family, and I was really, really nervous about that because it's already enough to be in a different country, but now you're going to stay with people that you've never met before. But they ended up being really nice people. I had a mom, of course, but she was widowed, so I didn't have a host father. I had two host sisters, and they were older than me. One of them had two young boys, so I had two nephews, a younger brother, and we also had a maid. Almost all the homes in Senegal have maids, and it's not really like the maids that we have here in America. Like, they're not just cooking and cleaning, like they're really a part of the family there, and they actually stay with us. And so it was really a brand new experience for me, to say in the least. And they spoke two different languages. They spoke French, which was what I was studying anyway, and they also spoke a different language, Wolof. And me and the other students in the program would always kind of joke and say, we're speaking Franglof, or, you know, because they were speaking two languages at the same time, so it's kind of difficult to understand which one they were speaking sometimes.
Say hi! Hi! Say hi, baby! Say bye-bye! Bye-bye!
Now, I'll be the first person to admit that studying abroad isn't the best experience. Like, you're going to have ups and downs, and you're going to have times where you want to go home and give up and wish you've never went before. But some of my problems was definitely communication problems. I mentioned previously that I studied French for my sophomore and junior year. But there was a year difference in between when I last took my French class and studying abroad. So my French language was a little shaky. So trying to communicate with my host family and understand when I was in class, like my teacher's teaching a Wolof class in French, so it's like you're learning two languages at the same time. It was especially difficult. And then I had problems with the food that we ate. Senegalese people eat a lot of fish and rice, and I hate fish and rice. So a tip for people deciding to study abroad, make sure that you research what your country eats, what they do. Just do a lot of research, because that'll definitely help you out in the end. The CIEE program had a lot of different activities for the students to participate in. They paid for each student to go to a soccer game that was held in Senegal. We traveled to different places within Senegal where we were able to take dance classes and drumming classes, and it was just a lot of fun. And then also we went on something called rural visits, where it was a more disadvantaged area than where we were already living in. Like, some people didn't even have running water, no electricity, so the things that we were used to having in Senegal was a drastic difference from what these rural visits were. And there was a lot of downtime. It was very rural. So you think rural, you see a lot of animals and no electricity. It's not like a busy area. So it made us appreciate the things that we already had back at home, and a special gratification for the things that we have in America. Senegal is predominantly Muslim. So when you think about religions and traditional values, Senegal is a place that really strongly holds on to their traditional values, and I actually was very happy when I found a Christian church. It was a church that a lot of different people from over the world can come who are Christians, and there were some really nice people, and I ended up joining the music ministry, and I sang every Sunday. Study abroad program in the midst of while Ebola was there, and as we know, Ebola was a big topic for Africa, and then when the cases came over to America, but there was only one confirmed case in Dakar, Senegal, which is where I was. The affected areas were around the area that I was in. But I stayed because the CIEE advisors, they were very good with sending us updates and emails about the infected people in the areas where the infection was occurring. And they even had a backup plan for if more cases did appear in Senegal. And so I felt really comfortable in staying there, and I don't feel that my safety was compromised in any way. While people here in America were worried out of their minds about their students being here while Ebola was going on, we were safe. And then, you know, the media always blows things out of proportion, so that's why I decided to stay. And for any future students trying to study abroad in Africa, just make sure you do your research, but don't believe everything that the media says. Definitely miss volunteering at the Handicap Pottery Center that I was helping with. There we were able to help students make clay objects like pots and ceramics, and it was just a really good experience to work with disadvantaged children and see the joy on their faces from making their art. And so it was very rewarding. I'll definitely miss spending time with them. And another thing about Senegal, I'm definitely going to miss my family. Although we didn't always see eye to eye on things, but that's any family. We were really close, and I got a chance to connect with them. And we're still friends on Facebook, my sister and I, so we'll keep that communication going. And then I'll also miss my teachers and my friends from the program. They were really great people to work with and to be students with, and The CIEE program gave us the opportunity to be together and to meet and to share this abroad experience together. And this is a moment that I will never forget. I've learned a lot of things while studying abroad, and one of them is definitely patience. Regardless of what country you go to, there's going to be different values, different things that people deem as important, and everybody isn't going to understand why you do certain things or understand the language that you're speaking, but you have to have a sense of empathy and realize that these differences is what makes the study abroad experience that much more valuable. And another thing that I've learned to have is determination. Initially, I didn't have confidence in my French speaking abilities because there was such a time gap in between the last time I took my last French class. And so I would think things like, oh, these people speak better than me, or I'm never going to learn anything better than what I already know. But having that negative attitude only hinders you from reaching your maximum potential. So you have to have determination to see the end goal and to make it that much further than where you initially were. Another thing that I've learned to have is courage. You have to have courage as well as determination. They kind of go hand in hand. Courage in yourself as well as in others. Be able to be a friend to help those other people. And then the last thing I would say is optimism for a brighter future. I would definitely recommend studying abroad to anybody who's interested. Find out what country you want to go to, learn the most that you can about it, and just take that chance because it's going to be awesome.